Welcome into a very special episode of Girls & Co. We're going to be doing this for the lead up to the Floorball tournament. We had a woman on each team this tournament, which is the first time we've ever done it, which is awesome in my opinion. So we have one of those women today. Courtney, how are you doing?
Good. I'm Courtney, by the way. Thank you, Paxton.
Tell people a little bit of who you are and how you got to Jomboy Media. Let's start with that.
So I'm from New Jersey. I know New Jersey gets a lot of hate, but I love it. You know, grew up down the shore and also near Princeton area, so Jersey girl at heart. And I went to Fairfield University, and during my time there, I was seeking an internship. Saw on Twitter, Jake posted that they had a new office in Manhattan, they needed interns. So I just applied, had no idea what I was applying for, just checked off, I love Jomboy Media, this is what I like, this is my background. Got a text from Courtney saying, we think you'd be a good fit for the sales internship. Applied, got the job, and here I am, a year and a half, almost 2 years later, full-time as sales coordinator.
Nice. So did you, were you always a fan of Jomboy Media, or how did you find their content originally?
I found it, I was an early fan, 2019, nice. Honestly, the Astros scandal, which is, not... I don't want to say that because it's so basic, but that's how I kind of became a fan. Yeah. And it was also just seeing Jake's tweets, and I'm like, who is this guy? He's so funny. Yeah. And I also knew Jimmy, and then when I discovered they were a pairing, I was like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. I need to.
I love that. Yeah, it's funny because I think most of the time people always see a Jimmy breakdown or something like that, but I love the fact that Jake's tweets really stood out to you in the memory.
His poses and responses in the Yankees. And I was just sending it to my friends, this guy's awesome.
Oh, I love it. So now, fast forward, full time. This is your second tournament that you've been a part of with Floorball. You were in last year's tournament as well. So walk me through your relationship with sports in general, and if you played any growing up, and why you got picked to play in Floorball.
Yeah, so last year, I guess was my first year playing Floorball ever, and I was part of JM Office, which is rip and peace. That was a great team.
Great jerseys too.
Yeah, I love the colors. That's my favorite color set. A little disappointed I wore green this year, but I started playing. I guess growing up, I started playing softball, and then going into 5th grade, 6th grade, I kind of I was my best friend played field hockey, and I was that seems cool, I want to play. My parents were just wait, what is that a sport? What is
why?
that?
What is that? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was I don't know, it just seems fun, and I couldn't try out until 7th grade. Okay. So I was I'll wait a year, and then 6th grade launch, they made an announcement we need 6th graders to play field hockey. If anyone wants to try out, we could use some young kids. But I wasn't listening, of course. So I was it's fine. Talking with my friends, probably watching Vine. Yeah. And then my sister was Courtney, they need people to play field hockey. And I was all right, I guess I'll try it out. Tried out, made the team.
Nice.
Continued all throughout college. I played club at Fairfield.
Okay.
So then I guess last year when they needed people to play, Sam and I had talked about playing field hockey, and I came to mind, so
nice.
Kind of it was I was I guess I'm terrified to play with, on camera, but I'll give it a try.
So you just been around field hockey, you fell in love with it, similar to Sam, and that's how you ended up getting tied to Floorball. So when it comes to the production side of it, I know that it's a small company. And so it's very normal to randomly be on camera in a video or something here at Jomboy Media. But was there any part of you that was I don't know if I at all want to be on camera for a tournament last year?
Not really. It was just only if I did really badly.
And then it's can we cut this entire game?
If something really bad happened. But I don't mind being on camera.
Good.
It's fine. But it was just as long as I do okay. It's if I'm mid, I'm fine with that. Just don't be terrible.
You weren't going to be worse than Trevor Plouffe last year.
Yeah, so I was all right, these guys
You've had a low bar to be above, so that's good.
Yes.
So what do you think, obviously production value and the level of pre-pro that we put into this tournament's different than last year, but from a player's perspective and also a woman's perspective, what's the difference from last year to this year in your opinion?
obviously, like you said, production, but something that was different, I think, just like game flow and like how the brackets were laid out, and every team was, I think, very evenly matched. Like there was like that. I feel like each team had like one like standout player, and everyone else equaled or contributed equally. So it was like kind of going into the tournament. It was like, I don't even really know which team's going to win.
It's like level playing field for sure.
Like last year was kind of like, all right, worm burners, they're all Canadian men who play hockey.
Literally professionals who do this for a living. Okay, perfect.
So you kind of knew, and then this year was just fun being with more girls, and I guess it was like all the girls, we kind of like were building each other up and like, I was rooting for you, and just it was like a good support system. That's like, it was a little different this year than last year.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, because I would agree with that, because not saying that, you know, any of our tournaments are lacking support or camaraderie or anything like that, but there was something a little different about having more women involved on the court, and I think it comes across in each game, in my opinion, because I mean, 99% of the time, and this isn't spoiling anything, but 99% of the time, I feel like the women on the team were like the hardest defenders, the ones that were on the ground the most, the ones that, is she gonna throw a punch? She might, I'm not sure. So I thought it was cool to see that. You were asked last minute though, right?
Yeah, it was like Monday or Tuesday to come play on Friday.
Yeah. How did you, I guess, compartmentalize and switch your brain from, okay, we're going to turn into a floorball player again?
I don't know. It was like,
you did it well. I mean, you had everyone else like convinced. You knew you were playing in it for months. And I was like, no, it's only been a few days.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, if I knew I was playing in it, I probably would have signed up for like a summer league to get some like practice,
a weekend like run just to like keep
something.
It going.
But like I've been running throughout the summer, which I think helped a lot, but it was just kind of like, oh my god, I have to play. Like I didn't have time to process like or practice. It was like the first time I practiced was like the first game, so it was just kind of like, all right, well, I did this last year, which I think if I didn't do it last year I'd be like scared, but it's like, I did this last year, I can do it again.
No, I thought you did great. I mean, truthfully, I would have never guessed that you found out a few days before. So, and you guys all met. I mean, you knew Drew and like you knew all of the guys on your team, but I feel like you had no idea what it was going to be like being a part of Hookline Sinkers.
Right. It was a lot of not like pressure, but since they just won ball and play, it was kind of like, you know, Jolly and BVD and Drew kind of in your face being like, all right, like don't
let us down.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, calm down. Let's not put pressure like that.
It's like, I'll try. You know, we're trying our best.
It's the effort that counts.
Yes.
So going back to, we've talked about you typically aren't on camera, and so being a part of a tournament like this, you're obviously going to be a big part of these videos throughout the entire tournament. So as someone who, I guess, doesn't have as much experience dealing with comments and internet opinions, how do you mentally prep going into something like this for a tournament on Warehouse?
It sounds like bad, but I don't care what people
say. No, that's not bad at all. That's
like,
great.
Yeah, I'm like, if someone says something like, it's like, I it doesn't faze me. I'm like, oh.
You're like, thumbs up, like,
yeah,
like it.
It's fun. It's funny, and like no matter like what someone says, like when you see your name in the comments, like from last year, or even like from Wordle, it's just weird to be like, who are these people?
Yeah, like, why do you know my name?
Yeah.
You don't know me.
And even like I was in the background of one video and someone was like, oh, look, Courtney, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I wasn't even referenced. Like,
yeah, it's like, I was just there.
Yeah, it's like, just, I guess, like Jomboy Media super fans, knowing everyone.
Yeah, you just ignore it. No, I mean, that's definitely smart. And that is the way to go about it, especially being, and I will say this, I think our JM Warehouse audience is so welcoming and so loving. Kelsey and I were talking about it, and we were talking about ball and play, and her and I both had thoughts, not so much concerns, but thoughts that us doing the pre and post game show, just us without Moylan or Rose in it, was going to cause some backlash for us. And we were so pleasantly surprised by that Warehouse audience of just welcoming us and being so loving. So I have a feeling they'll be like that with all of the new faces because they typically are pretty welcoming. But I mean, being a woman in sports, in videos, in content, whether you're forward facing or not, is always going to be difficult in itself. So and it's okay if you've experienced nothing, because I think that's incredible if you haven't. Have you experienced anything professionally or maybe even in college, being a woman who knows sports, loves sports, enjoys sports, like getting backlash of that or having to feel any of those stereotypes, you think?
Honestly, I think I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had like anything to like call the name or like a significant experience that would like,
Be detrimental.
Yeah, and like I took like some sports classes and like media, and obviously like the classes are like mostly male dominated, but everyone like, especially like at Fairfield, the school is mostly female.
Love that.
And it's I haven't had any issues. I mean, I think also because like my first like sports job has been here.
Yeah.
So everyone's so nice and supportive and awesome that I haven't ever felt like, like pressure or like being held back for being a woman. So I consider myself lucky, but I know most women can't, especially in sports media, have difficulty to agree.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, definitely lucky in this being your first job. I say that to a lot of people, just professional, friends from other jobs. I tell people all the time, I'm like, people here are great because it's their first job and they're not jaded yet, especially when it comes to like younger. So that it is very lucky for you. But have you ever been, I guess, near or around something to where you're kind of like, okay, we need to do better in that? Maybe not so much Jomboy Media, but just something you've seen or experienced that more so like personally struck a chord with you of like wanting to be better and do more towards that.
I think it always goes back to comments.
Yeah.
If you see any like reporter who's a female, especially doing like football, and you go on, NFL's Instagram page and just the men comments and like, if only she was prettier, she'd have more fun.
Like, why is she trying? She doesn't know sport.
Yeah, and like she'll rattle off like 10 like stats, and it's like, oh, she's reading from the cue cards.
Yeah,
like,
she didn't do that herself. Yeah.
Well, so are the guys that are doing it.
Yeah.
It's like that's the job. You're reading
exactly.
And like, I think it's just backlash from people, and it's never to say like women aren't knowledgeable, but it's like men, I think, automatically put that like face on women and think that they don't know.
Oh, 1,000%.
And it's like, oh, they're just hired because they're pretty and they look good on camera and stuff, but it's not true.
So what do you think that Jomboy Media does differently than any other sports media company that makes us women feel so secure and welcomed and supported here?
I think a big part of that is our community and our audience, and just like you said, like you go through the warehouse comments in any video, and I would say 98% of the comments are love and positivity. Yeah. So I think that makes people not be afraid to put themselves out there on camera or trying to create like interesting content, because you know that you're going to be supported by not just your coworkers and fellow employees, but also the audience and the people that we're making these videos for. Yeah,
I agree. So and this is I'm like pivoting all over the place right now with my thoughts. So what is the goal for you professionally? You want to stay in sports? Like, what's like dream? And take being at Jomboy Media out of it, but you personally, what is your dream job, role, position, whatever it may be?
It's hard to say because I love being here, so it's like kind of whatever I can do to learn and grow myself here is kind of
there's so
the
much
goal.
Room for growth.
Yeah,
so much room.
Yeah, I'm just kind of excited, like taking it day by day, learning little things along the way to develop me in whichever path I go. Yeah, it's hard. I always hate that question because it's like I'm always like, I don't know. It just
and you want to have some answer, because then if you don't have an answer, then it's like, oh, are you not driven? Do you not have? Right. And it's like, no, I do. But yes, it is a lot easier to be like, as cliche as it is, like wherever I'm happy and making the biggest impact.
Yeah, it's like God's plan,
Yeah, it's like that's a good answer. But like, what part of your job do you love that you think that is like your favorite part, that you are just like, yes, this is it?
I think something that's really cool is like when you like being on the sales end is when you see something gets sold, like Shady Rays in Floorball.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of knew for months how that was going to look.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you finally get to see it in person, you're like, that was like, we had this idea like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And you finally see it come to life. And it just things that I think are easy to like pass by when you're like watching it. It's just, oh yeah, like that's a cool like background.
Yeah.
But then you don't think about the amount of work and like how our sellers, like how much time they spend like pitching these ideas and getting the client to respond and like just merging everything so that it all looks good at the end.
Yeah, that is the crazy part. I think a lot of people forget because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes for these tournaments. Like, and it's not, and we've spoken on, we had Ronnie on here and we spoke on, the editing process and how long that takes. And obviously that is a beast all in its own, but a big aspect of it is the sales team. Like, you guys are working on things like before even like us creators know like when we're playing or any of that. And so like you said 4 months, like is that like a normal process time for sales for something like that?
Yeah, it's because it's like big turnaround. So it's a lot that goes into it, especially when you want signage. You have to order everything and then sell it so that like it's like, okay, once Floorball is sold, now let's work on Blitzball and playoffs, and
while also simultaneously like doing. So you guys have a meeting. So the process is sales team has a meeting. You're like, we're gonna pitch this to Shady Rays. We're gonna pitch Floorball to Shady Rays. Then you come up with a concept. It's like, what's the process to like getting to the end goal?
Yeah, so I guess like more so like Tom and Amanda.
Okay.
Our sellers.
Okay.
Well, like it draw interest, pitch these meetings. We'll help create slides or like media plan, and just Luke steps in. He's with these creative ideas and ways to integrate the brand seamlessly.
Yeah.
Which is I think why like Shady Rays was such a good sponsor for Blitzball and Floorball, is it's so easy to just integrate into
put
content.
Them on. So easy, and they're good sunglasses too. Like, that's the best part.
Yeah, and it's like stuff like when I'm watching other channels and shows and I see stuff like that, I'm like, I love that, because it's just like you notice like, oh, like it's just so easy. Like even like I'm thinking of like Ken Rosenthal with his little bow ties, and he'll do like charities relating to the bow ties, and like before working in sales, you're just like, why is Dude always wearing a bow tie? And then it's cool when you see like them announce it on TV. You're like, oh, that's awesome. Like how they can take his habit and form it into like a story or something.
Yeah, like you guys in the sales department find, I feel like, a lot of joy in naturally integrating like sales and products and sponsors or whatever into content to where it never looks awkward. Like,
yeah, you want it to be entertaining for people to watch.
Right. You don't want someone like just holding like a bottle of water and like, this is our sponsor. It's
and like skip.
Yeah, exactly. I think you guys do a really good job of that. So after the sellers, that happens, they sell it, then the ideas are formed. What is your role in this process?
So I help like pre and post kind of sales. So like help with like media plans and creating slides, and afterwards like tracking all the reporting, making sure everything gets done, emailing with clients and just check-in process, and here's the first video, how does it look, and getting approvals and videos and stuff. So it's a lot of back and forth work between our team and clients, and then production and content.
That makes sense. So when you're playing in a floorball game, does it ever cross your mind of like, that was a good ad read, good job? Like, or you just, it's out. Like, you're a floorball player at that, like, sales, like, see you on Monday, like, not thinking about it.
I feel like I used to be, when I play like sports, field hockey and softball, I'd be so into the game. And then like, I remember every single play, like, I can tell you like how many hits I had in this random game march of like two, like, it's weird.
That's that's not weird. That's awesome.
But then like floorball, I like black out. I don't remember anything until I watch. So like I used to be good, and then I watched, like I could tell you like, oh, I remember this exact goal in this game, and it was the 42-minute mark, like, and in floorball I'm like, what
did we play?
Like, what did I touch the ball? And I don't know why that is. Maybe
that's crazy.
Maybe it's more like because it's so quick and fast paced that it's like softball, it's easy. Like you get like, oh, X amount of at bats, but floorball is like all over the place, and you're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, no, I completely get that, because half the time Kelsey and I will do a game, and then we'll go do our pre, post game, whatever, and I'll be standing there and I'm like, who just played?
Right.
I have no idea who just played.
I think that also goes to say, because just how long the weekends are.
Yeah, it's
So
like you only have like this amount of energy, and you want those like peak energy moments to be on camera. So
Yeah.
anything off camera, I'm like, I don't know what day it is. I
Right.
don't know how old I am. I don't know anything outside
Right,
of that. So
right.
I relate to that. I think we should just title it like warehouse brain.
Yeah, literally.
I think that's what it is.
It's like when those people go to like Taylor Swift and get amnesia.
Yes.
It's like just like floorball. I'm like, oh my god, it ended. Did we play?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly how I feel. So last question. One, do you think you will play in another tournament in future in JM Warehouse? And two, how do we up the ante now that we've had a woman on every single team? What's next for women in JM Warehouse?
Well, I mean, I would love to play again, given the opportunity. And I think having one woman on the team was a huge step.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say like have two because it's like boring answer. I don't know, like even just maybe doing like special segments.
Yeah.
On like, or even if we had like a female apparel advertiser
Yeah.
or sponsor or something where like when we did like mini golf and all the women had to wear the polos. Yeah. It's like it'd be nice to get like some women's something like, to get a little more. I think that could be cool. But I mean, we already have like, especially with you and Kelsey doing like all the reporting, like I feel like for such a male dominated company and kind of community on YouTube, mm-hmm. It's warehouses, especially floorball, is very heavy female oriented this year.
Yeah, and I love that because I've realized this doing Girls & Co. The women who are either related to the men who are fans of Jomboy Media content or dating or married or sibling, whatever it may be, they seek out content like this. Like they mm-hmm. seek out women in the, like that's why Sam is like the most beloved person on Jomboy Media content, because she was like the sole woman that like every female was like drawn to in the content. So I think it's really cool. I think you did a great job in the tournament. I know it was tough sometimes and it was hot. But I think you did great, and I think you'll be back for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, that's all we got here. Tune in next week for another interview. Bye.